Welcome back to Talk of the Town. We are joined now by our sports news partner, Travis Wilson, who is the general manager and football writer at Wisconsin Sports. And we're very excited to have you back. We get to talk high school football with you again. I want to talk to you, first of all, welcome.
Thank you.
Before I jump in and get your info, I'm so excited. But let's talk about the Big 8 Conference. So in Week 5, this race got pretty crowded. What do you see? Where do we stand with Big 8 right now?
Well, heading into Week 5, we had a little bit of separation. Middleton and Janesville-Craig were both undefeated. They both went down in Week 5, though. So now we have 4 teams tied at the top of the Big 8 Conference, all with 4-1 records. Middleton, Janesville-Craig, Madison, La Follette, and Sun Prairie. And it's going to be a fun race down the stretch. 4 games left in the conference, and it's anybody's race at this point. Each one controls their own destiny.
Very true. And there's been some great rivalries that we've gotten to catch so far this season. One of the longest running is Reedsburg versus Baraboo. So let's talk about that. How did that turn out in Week 5?
Well, from the research that I've done, that is the most played rivalry in the state of Wisconsin. 127th meeting this year, last week, between Reedsburg and Baraboo. Reedsburg got a win in that one, 26-0. And just one of those great stories, great rivalries in high school football in Wisconsin. Absolutely.
And there's been some great defensive battles. So I want to kind of pick your brain about that. There was one between Columbus and Lodi. Can you talk to us about that one specifically?
Yeah, those are 2 great defensive teams, first of all, and they really put on a show Friday night. Neither offense was able to get over 150 total yards. Both defenses made some big plays, but Lodi's made the biggest play. They had Columbus backed up inside the 5-yard line, forced a fumble late in the game. They recovered on the 1-yard line, went in for a touchdown on the next play, and ended up with a 10-7 win where defense made the difference in that one.
Interesting. Well, what an interesting turnout that was. And we picked your brain a little bit last week about playoffs and whether or not it was too early to start sort of thinking about playoffs or could we? And you made us feel better that it was okay, that it was on our brain. So give us the playoff report. Where are we standing now in your mind?
Well, in southwest and south central Wisconsin, there's no teams that have clinched playoff berths yet. Middleton and Janesville-Craig could have last week, but came up just short and will have an opportunity to do so this week. But there are some teams that are playoff eligible. Blackhawk from the Six Rivers Conference, Cambria-Friesland from the Trailways Small, Deerfield from the Trailways Large, Ithaca from the Ridge and Valley, and Milton, who we saw in CW 57 last week from the Badger South, are all playoff eligible. If people are wondering what the difference between clinching a playoff spot is and becoming playoff eligible, head to wisports.net to our football page on our playoff section, have all that broken down and kind of clarify that process a little bit.
Absolutely. Well, we'll do just that. And yeah, to your point, some great games last week. We'll have to see how they play out for us this week, and then we'll pick your brain next week on what that means for playoffs. And we're about halfway past the halfway mark here in football season. Do you have any predictions as far as local conference titles are concerned?
Yeah, well, if we kind of stay with the 3 main ones here in the Madison area, the 3 big ones. In the Big 8, I mentioned that's kind of a mess right now with 4 teams tied at the top. Again, each one could win out and control their own destiny and guarantee themselves at least a share of the conference title. Of those 4 teams left, I like Sun Prairie. They have a difference maker on offense in All-State running back Noah Diaz, and on defense in Devin Webster, who had a big game last week. So I like them there. In the Badger North, I picked Reedsburg before the season. I might have to give a slight edge to Mount Horeb-Barneveld now in that race, but I think Reedsburg and Waunakee are still very much in it. Badger South, it's all about Monona Grove. They've dominated that league for a few years and look like they're going to do so once again.
Very good. Good info. And what about some big statistical performers? What have you seen from that aspect so far this season?
Well, we're just, like you said, just past the halfway point in the season and kind of get a good view on who's going to be some of the top statistical guys the rest of the way. Passing-wise, right now, Max Myler from Mount Horeb-Barneveld leads the way locally with 963 passing yards. Zach Zome from Madison East, even though they haven't got a win this year, had some very close games. He's second in the area. Troy Laufenberg from Waunakee, who we talked about quite a bit back in Week 1, leads the state in rushing with 1,153 yards. And then Ricky Williams, who we've talked about a couple times, is close behind. He's 4th in the state with just over 1,000 yards, even though he did miss a game. Receiving-wise, you have to go down to Prairie du Chien in the southwest part of the state. Casey Hoganson leads the way kind of in our area down there. And then Terrell Carey at Madison West has had a very good year as well. He's kind of in that top 15 to top 20 range. So those are some of the guys making a big impact so far locally.
Very good. Well, thank you very much to Travis Wilson from Wisconsin Sports Network. I'm always so impressed with how much information you get in 5.5 minutes. It's very impressive. But if you haven't gotten enough, you can go to wisconsinsports.net, good thing it's on the screen, and get lots more information from Travis and their team. And we'll have you back. We'll have you back next week, and we'll get the scoop. All right?
Sounds good.
Thanks, Travis. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks to our guests, and please join us for more Talk of the Town next time.